The Cats take home the chocolates once again, mate, at Simonds Stadium. Big win for the Cats. The Crows by 22 points. An enthralling victory in contest. And, mate, I got the chocolates. I got some chocolate right here, mate.
Yeah.
Got a bit of Oreo action for us.
Where did you pull that from, mate? Just play birthday present.
I'll tell you what. I got it from the supermarket the other day. I thought, I'll just grab a lot. They're on special, so I'll break open a piece for you, mate.
Thanks,
a
mate.
couple of pieces. This is,
What I do?
give you a couple.
I suppose.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to talk for a bit while I eat my chocolate, but...
Yeah, I'll try and talk first, mate. I'll have mine a little bit shortly, but
Taste of victory.
pretty good.
Yeah, not bad. What do we got there? Is it Oreo?
Dairy milk with Oreo.
Are you sponsored?
No, I'm not affiliated at all.
Put a film full day, mate.
Oh, well,
Full of chocolate here.
I'm going to sponsor the Cats right now, mate, because 22-point winners, and we're both pretty confident going into the game, thinking that the Cats were a pretty good chance and a pretty good showing. You know, at Simonds, we've been in really good form there lately and showing up some great form there, and love the way we went about it. Really even performance tonight, and some stunning plays and bits of teamwork. It was really good to see. So impressed, and another big scalp at home, and we've passed a really tough block of 3 weeks, and another couple of tough ones coming, another tough 4 weeks. So, yeah, I'll get your thoughts on the game, mate, once you finish up with your chocolate.
Already, mate,
You're done with your chocolate.
Yeah, we'll deal with this guy later.
Time for me to just get stuck in the line.
No, it was impressive, wasn't it, mate? I mean, we did go in confident with a good record and things, which you touched on last week, and in the tips as well, but never easy. They're a quality team. And I think it was all in that first 3 quarters. We never really seemed like we lost control of the game, which I thought was really impressive. Obviously, late they pegged it back a bit, but I think we both agree that was probably more so to do with the fact that we switched off a bit. Not so much switched off, but more so applied real defensive mindset just to make sure that huge run of momentum couldn't actually happen.
Yeah, completely avoided it.
I mean, yeah, like they kicked a couple of late ones, but there was never a threat of getting a run on. No. And I guess that's the old park the bus soccer term.
I was waiting for you to say that.
Yeah. So, I mean, while you probably concede 2 goals forward or 1 goal 2 kind of deal, it doesn't hurt you that much. No. But you do limit the ability of them, if you still play open, free-flowing style, 5 goals straight or something. But on the more positives, certainly was great to see. As you mentioned, we've got a pretty tough run of obviously the last 3, followed by I think it's 3 more after the bye. Is pretty tough, but again we were good in the contest, tackled hard, contested ball was really good. Our stars stood up again. People were again saying, Dangerfield, Sal, but they keep firing. I mean, we can talk about this point all we like, but the fact is they fire 9 times out of 10. So
yeah, it's going to happen. So it's not a guarantee, but most of the time they will, and so there's no point arguing if they don't play well.
It's a weekly conversation, and maybe the question is, well, we talk about it every week, but they play well every week. So
why is it a discussion?
Yeah, but I thought it really was a great performance from the whole side. There were a couple of guys who had maybe slightly quieter matches, but pretty much everyone contributed enough, and most players had games that we talk about what you're going to get and things like that, and what we hope to get from players, and most of them tick that box for doing what we hoped they would do.
For sure, yep.
And, yeah, really impressed. I mean, I was not, I wasn't super, you're probably more confident than me with this one, which sometimes it can be the opposite, but I am keen to see how we go outside of Simonds Stadium.
Yeah,
I think
very keen to see, yep.
We certainly know we're a fantastic, unbelievable side at home, so hard to beat. Just hopefully we can transition that and not be fooled by 3 good weeks at home.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, other than that, I think it's nothing different to really what we said the last couple. The intensity was good, our star players led well, and our backline was really good. Just a great team defence, won in the contest, all those sort of things.
Yep.
And run and spread was really good and moved the ball really well. That's one thing that at times over the last 18 months we've struggled to do. But yeah, really pleasing. I'm going to tuck in a bit more chocolate, mate. But what were some of the fine points of the game that you saw? Was there anything that really stood out to you?
Yeah, nothing different really. Well, so what I can come up with that. Yeah, look, the intensity and ferocity around the ball and the contest was a pleasing factor to see. Very early on, we were just all over them like flies. So that's when we come out firing and allay some big tackles early. That means we're on, and most teams would be on from that point. Yeah, as you mentioned, mate, very good ball movement as well. There was a couple of bits of play where we got from one end to the other. A couple of coast-to-coast goals I think we got in there. So when you're doing that means you're doing something right, catching the defence, catching them out. So, look, that was always good to see. I thought we were really impressive in the air, as you sort of alluded to with the defenders. They did their job really well. Plenty of long, high kicks when Geelong and when most teams apply a lot of pressure, they tend to make the opposition kick a little bit higher and just sort of hack the ball in the air, which our defenders, they eat for breakfast every day. So, yes, like seeing that for sure. General one-on-one battles were really impressive. Menzel's 3 goals behind the back were quite impressive. A very efficient game from him. That's one way to put it. Tackle numbers are really good. We got 100 more possessions than the Crows, so we really just did very well around the ball. Did very well on the ground ball gets as well. I noticed we were really collecting them quite significantly, and that's sort of a thing with us. If we're not getting the ball on the deck, we tend to look pretty slow. We can be a little bit sort of labour, a bit behind everything. So I was loving seeing that, mate. Very, very good.
Yeah.
What else we got to say, mate?
Sloan, only 23.
Yeah, great tag from Scooter, and 10 tackles from him was very impressive too. Contested possessions plus 30 just means we're working harder around the coalface and really just digging in deep. And if you get the contested footy and you're clean out of the contest, it makes it very hard for any defence to counteract that.
Yeah, fantastic, wasn't it? To stop Sloan, and people were talking all week about Cameron and Betts and Jenkins and Lynch and Walker, and as a whole, we definitely beat them pretty comfortably, really.
Oh, we sure did. I was laughing on 360 on that. So I think, sorry to just hammer you down, Nick Dalsana, but I think they all sort of agreed. I think except for Jared, so I think their defenders will beat their forwards and vice versa. And I was thinking, it's not as easy as who's on paper. It's about the structure and how they come out, and so many other factors. And we stood up as a team, and it all really does start and stop in the midfield. If the midfield is applying great pressure, it either enables you to relinquish an attack forward or prepare behind the ball. So that's why it's so important in the midfield battle there. And we were very impressive over the course of the night. Chopped away a little bit in the last quarter, but Shorty pretty much covered that to a good degree there. Just basically parking the bus.
Yeah.
Once Menzel kicked that goal, I think we didn't switch off, but we thought put the cue in the rack slightly and just sort of defensively tried to negate any chance of them coming back if there was a chance. If we kept playing that attacking style, as Shorty said, it opens you up the other way. So very impressed, mate. Moving the boats, which are kind of interesting this week.
Yeah, I mean, a few to choose from, but equally I found it difficult after the 2 votes. So sort of throw a blanket over a few without any sort of standing out.
It's positive, if you like.
I thought Selwood was best on ground. That's Joel. His brother was pretty good too, but just some inspiring stuff. Led us for touches. It's not always about the touches, but he did rack the ball up, and so many times just went back with the fly and put his head over it, which I shouldn't be surprised about, but he just was unbelievable.
Continues.
Dangerfield, the 2 votes. How often do we say 3 and 2 for them? It's great to see.
Yeah.
Kicked the 3. I think he had 31, and just such an explosive player, and he did exactly that again tonight.
Very good.
And look, I gave 1 vote to Lockie Henderson, and he didn't play an outstanding game or one of his best games of his career or anything, but it's almost just I could almost give the 1 vote to the back 6 or the back unit. I really felt like as a core group they were fantastic. I just wanted to pick one of them, and Henderson was the man. He and Lonergan have had a really good run of form, and not often are they in the best 3, so we don't get to talk about them as much.
Yeah, the defenders go by the wayside for sure.
But I thought I'd take the opportunity to talk about Lockie today, because a good build-up to form, and it's earned him a vote, even though it is just on this game. I sort of thought, well, you deserve a vote, and today's probably the one where I have an opportunity to give you one, son. So there you go. Thoughts, mate? Yeah,
somewhat similar, a little bit of a twisteroo. I've gone Paddy Dangerfield for the 3 votes. You got the 31, as you said, kicked 3 goals, 3. Just a dynamic beast, out of the stoppage, out of the contest. 3 scintillating goals, and if you hit the scoreboard, I'm a big fan of you. And if you rack up plenty of the footy, contested footy, He does it all.
Yeah.
Some really good marks in there as well. So Paddy was very good. Joel got 35 touches, so he gets 2 votes, and kicked the goal as well. Plenty of tackles next to his name. He's very unlucky not to get the 3 for me, mate. He was as courageous as maybe we've ever seen him.
Yeah.
Maybe we're not used to seeing it every single week, and it's just been outlined more this week. But just very gutsy. He didn't have to do what he did, but it just shows he just bleeds blue and white, and literally bled earlier in the game, straight from the ear, I think it was. So, yeah, there's no better captain in the AFL at going back with the flight ball and that, setting an example for the club. So, brilliant. And Tom Stewart gets the 1 vote, 19 touches, took a few grabs, a few tackles next to his name, and I just loved his tenacity and ferocity out of the back line. He just really took it on. He was really good one-on-one. He had some really good moments, and I liked his run and dash off halfback as well. You think of him as a tall, lumpy defender. He was just really good, really solid, good speed and good agility and good use of the footy. So
particularly early when it was hot, he was really good.
Yeah, loved the way he went about it too, and did a nice job. I don't know who he's on, if he was on Lynch or I think he's mainly on Jenkins.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you exactly, but certainly in that vicinity.
He did well. Did what he had to do.
Yeah.
So, loved his game. Chopping block, mate. We probably almost need to rename this to the players' review block or something like that. Chopping almost makes it seem like if we had to play a bad game.
Yeah.
I'll discuss that off air. But how do you see the team, the balance, and I guess anyone else vying for contention?
Yeah.
Hawkins.
Yeah. I mean, as you say, there's not much chopping to be done when you're winning, I suppose. A couple of guys, like I said off the top, were a little quieter, maybe they'd like. I think Menzel, I know he kicked the 3, but he pretty much just finished off the good work, as he sort of said, of a couple of plays. So I'd still like to see his form improve, and you just always get concerned with that body, that maybe he's not out of form, maybe his body's holding him back a little bit, but hopefully it's just a form slump. Parsons and Lang were good without being great. You're not going to go dropping them, I wouldn't have thought, but certainly they would like a little bit more out of themselves. But again, they had moments. Yeah, so I think down the track there's positive signs, but not everyone can be enormous contributors on the night. And they were probably a couple who not missed the party, but just didn't stand up as much as some of our other second and third tier players, because a few did. I thought Colin Jasny was strong, and
we better say Kolodinsky. behind
inside joke that one, but anyway,
move on.
So look, obviously down on Friday, no VFL at this stage. I don't know when they play. Do you know if they play on the Saturday or the Sunday? I'm not sure.
I feel like Sunday.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna guess Sunday.
Yes, whatever it is, we'll see a couple of players, but I wouldn't have thought they'd be changing too much from this side. I mean, Hall & Smith will be finding it difficult to get back in.
Yeah, he's spewing. He had great early season form.
Yeah, but Scott Sells just come in and been really good. Really good.
Brilliant.
And look, I don't have too much more to add. I mean, you mentioned Hawkins there, which you might want to talk about a little bit too. Wasn't his best game of all time in the milestone, but
no.
Talia often has his measure. I don't think he's ever got a hold of him, to be honest. I think he had one game.
Maybe one game, yeah.
One game where I think he might have kicked 3, but did Talia go off with concussion or something? I feel like one day.
Yeah, I feel like I remember it was like 2000, maybe even last year.
And then all of a sudden Hawkins gets up the chain. So he's a great defender and really has Hawkins' measure, but nonetheless, was there anything else you wanted to add to that?
I think Hardigan was on him a fair bit as well, actually, now I think about it. But,
good point.
They both probably would have changed around. I suppose Hawkins might have been in a bit of trouble. A little bit of a punch on Matty Crouch. So the Crouch brothers were just all over him, and Crouch did a nice little bit of home and away stuff there, a bit of mayo on top of it. But, look, they're heavily cutting down on the punches. Zachy Jones got away with one last week, and also Jackie Stephen got away with one. So, look, I think Hawkins had more force than the other one, but if you go by generic, I don't know, what do you
force?
I'm just trying to think of the criteria is the word I'm after. If you go by the criteria of any impact, it was low impact, it was probably intentional or reckless, careless. I don't know how they mark all that. If they want to make a stand, they'll pay this one, and look, Tom Morgan's gone last year, which was a abysmal decision by the wide world, the media. So, look, I think he's in trouble. He could get 2 down to 1. I think it's worth a $1,500 fine, but it's not my decision to make. That's whatever the MRP or AFL want to make a stand on.
And the worry, mate, it was
very close. If not,
Zach Jones sort of bang.
Yeah.
Gut was Stephen, hit him. So
tummy wax versus head contact. Cochin gets away with one.
That's right.
Yeah.
Robbo.
They hate Hawkins.
Yeah. Robbo will be going off his nut. Even Waitley will be arguing again. I, like you, think it's probably just worth a fine. But there'll be some stage where they make a stand on this. And it wasn't last week. There'll be some player with all these when they look to enforce something, there's always a player or an incident that you go, that was really when they put their fist down and said, this must stop.
Yep.
Whether you call it a scapegoat or not, maybe you're just unlucky when you made the precedent, but it could be Hawkins. It wasn't that bad, but if they want to really make a stand. No, I only saw the replay at the ground, but I would hate to see him miss a game for that because, bit of argy-bargy, there's not much in it.
They're all over him, and
that's right.
He plays on, gets been in the second half, a few touches, didn't go off or anything. So, but you never know.
If they were Crouch boys were winding him up, and you can't. I know you're not ready to punch blokes, but you can't just be walked over. You've got to put a little bit of force back. The problem was he made contact with his chin, I suppose. That's the problem.
You don't want to get the fists there. I'm all for players. Just give them a bit of push and shove, and if you're pushing it, go for it. You can't get suspended for that, but fists near the head, we'll see, mate.
We will see, but look, we've got the bye next week, don't we, mate? So usually we would take a look at next week's opposition. There is none, so is there anything else you want to cover off? I think I'm pretty pleased with where we're at this stage of the season, and we'll gear up for a big tilt immediately after bye. There's some big tough clashes.
Yeah, there'll be some interesting games coming up. We've got West Coast away at Domain. We've got Fremantle at Simonds in the other game.
The Giants?
Yes, the Giants away as well. So that's 3 really big games. I expect... Look, I think we'll beat Fremantle. The other 2 I'm not too sure about. If we win 1 to 2 out of those 3, sets us up big time. So, look, I'll just quickly dive into West Coast game next week. The week after bye, I should say. Look, probably the best chance we've got of beating them for quite some time. No Nick Nat, no Josh Kennedy. No Nick Nat for most of the year anyway. But, look, he's got a hold of us when we've been playing over there. 2015 was the last time we played. We got beaten by 10 goals, but really we weren't much chop then. Got a bit more dynamic setup now. But, look, I'm thinking West Coast, depending on how they go this week, I suppose, against the Gold Coast, if they flop against the Suns, then we might look at the game a little bit differently. So it's more so what West Coast bring this week and how we mentally prepare ourselves for an away game. But I'm optimistic we can produce a reasonable result against the Eagles. It'd be touch and go, close game, but see how we go, mate. They're very good at home.
Yeah. Was that middle game against Fremantle, was it?
Yeah,
Simonds, Simonds, So, I mean, I think the mark is probably 2 out of those next 3. You'd definitely be wanting to get 2.
Yeah.
I'm not wanting, but that'd be a pass mark, I think.
Pass for 2 out of 3.
You get 1 against either the Eagles or the Giants away from home, that's pretty good. Obviously, you'd love to get 3, but, very good opportunity to knock them off over there because Kennedy is a big loss. As you mentioned on the walk home, he hasn't really torn us apart, but he is a player that is always capable of tearing you apart.
Great presence for their forward line and gives them structure.
Yeah, so I'll reserve my judgment in regards to a tip until I see how West Coast go. And we don't really go great after buys, is that fair to say? You're always better at knowing that stuff than me.
Yeah.
After the buy, we don't tend to be the greatest.
Horses for courses.
Yeah. So wait and see. The form's good, but as we've mentioned, very interested to see how that form is away from Simonds because I don't think we were, even though we were in a rut, say 3 weeks ago, and we spoke about it, we also said, well, I wouldn't be surprised to see us play good form and good footy at home.
Yeah.
So the telling point will be what we do on the road and the G. So I look forward to that.
Very excited, mate. Yeah, I'm more interested to see how we go at the G against other sides and a little bit of road trip around and see how we go. a bit more chocolate, mate, before we
Yeah,
wind
mate.
up?
Well, you sum it up. I wouldn't mind. I was about to thank you, but I'll grab some more. Yeah.
Thank me for just passing out the
Oh,
first.
yeah. Didn't expect any chocolate on the show, but
That's
there we
right,
go.
mate. Go one each and then
Should
a bit more later on.
Should I expect this regularly? Or
Depends if we've got a block of chocolate.
pretty simple then.
Well, depends if we want special. Depends if we go to the shop. I don't go to the shop often.
Shout out to Langers too, mate. You could have been sitting right here.
Yeah, right there, creeping through.
You've got the party. You've got to do what you got to do. I understand, but you missed out on a great review and some chocolate. So
join in for the chocolates next time, buddy. Just join in. So that's a review,
buddy.
Buddy Franklin. So that's the review from Shorty and myself. Cats home by 22 points. Big win in the context of the season. 3 in a row for the Cats. Very happy with how we're going. Very happy on the chocolates. Cats getting the chocolates as well. So everyone's winning at the moment, matey. And love your work tonight.
Thank you, mate. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks for hanging around, guys. Feel free to subscribe, like the video. That'd be awesome. And I'll catch you guys in the next one.